Hello, today I've got a pretty cool little vintage amp to show you. It's a Gallien Krueger 250ML and it was built in around 1984 to 1987, and most of you will know Gallien Krueger for their bass amps. They make amazing high quality bass amps. Well, for a while in the 80s they built guitar amps and the quality remained the same. It's one of the best sounding amps I've ever heard, and it's also one of the best build quality of amps that I've come across. It's built like a tank and it's also tiny, but it outputs at a really high volume. You can plug one of these into a 4x4 cabinet and it will do live gigs. You can plug it into a PA, it's got direct out at the back. You can plug it into your computer sound card, or you can just carry it around and use it as a practice amp, and that's what I'm using it as at the moment. And I will kind of explain the front panel. You've got stereo effects here. So you've got your chorus and echo. Obviously 1980s amp, it's going to have those two effects built in. Sadly no delay, and there's also no parameters on these effects, but I don't think you really need them because the preset kind of values are bang on, pretty much what I would use personally. It's got a foot switch, it's got headphones, which is really cool, so you can jam and not annoy your neighbours. And the other cool thing about it, the unique thing, is that it's got a graphic band EQ, 4-band, with 8 kHz, 2 kHz, 500 Hz and 120 Hz, which is not something I've come across very often. Maybe it's more for the kind of bass amps, but they've incorporated that into this little guitar amp. And finally, it's got two channels. It's got the channel selector, input, compressor and gain. So you can switch between high gain or clean. The B channel has a bit more of a high gain overdrive lead tone, whereas the A channel's more for your clean and crunch tones. So we'll start on the A channel with just some echo and no overdrive. So this is the Gallien Krueger 250ML on the A channel. Let's try that with some chorus. It's probably quite a recognisable tone from a lot of kind of melodic rock and hair metal of the day. That kind of chorus and reverb drenched sound. But we'll move on to kind of we'll go on to the B channel now. This is a high gain channel, and I've got the gain in and I've got the volume, you know, almost at 1, and it's still really loud even at that. And obviously you can see the graphic EQ settings here, and this is my lead tone. So let's try that with some chorus to get that kind of Somewhere in Time Iron Maiden sound. So that's the GK 250ML, my favourite amp of all time, and if you can come across one on eBay and you're into kind of 80s rock, or you just want a small practice amp that screams, I definitely recommend one of these. Probably one of the best built and best sounding amps I've come across. So yeah, that's the GK 250ML.